and Senate are saying that they are the true representatives of the people. A few years back, you notice that Ghanaians were all over the place in this country, doing all kinds of jobs and all of that. Their country couldn't afford to contain them. Now, all of us are headed to Ghana. We get our education from there, we get our medical attention in Ghana, literally everything. It took just a leader to say, we must make a turnaround in this place. And they got it right. And we're not going to take our examples from Americans. These are very sophisticated. We're talking about those who have the same cultural impediments like we do.
Yeah, some people have also given the example of Ethiopia, which also have the same, which also have the same cultural impediments as us. I mean, they were fighting themselves, they fought themselves to a standstill until they had that conference. And since then, people say they have been making progress, at least economically.
Well, I've taken the example of Ghana, and I'm more comfortable with Ghana than Ethiopia.
But I left Sudan out as well.
I also want to leave those who had this conference and failed entirely with their referendum and all of that. Those we don't want to copy from the bad examples. Good, but you see, let me now say this: why we are going the wrong way. In the days ahead, you are probably going to hear a lot of. This place is a pan-Nigerian organization. We know so. Channels has been pan-Nigerian. But you are going to hear certain ethnic remarks that will make you cringe. Because that is what we are about to get. This conference, for instance, is essentially a Southwest agitation. The North is grudgingly coming to it. The East is not particularly very excited at that, but they will come. Indeed, the opinion of the East, most of the people in the East, is that some 45 years back, they talked about this equity, they talked about justice, they talked about self-determination, so that they canvassed all these points, both in Aburi and in Kampala. Nigeria descended on them when they wanted self-determination and dragged them back into this union. And now, some people are saying, like you have part of your soundbite, is that there are two questions to this conference. One is, should we live together? And if we should live together, how do we live together? And I'm saying that first question does not arise. And that is even part of why I disagree with the president, who said no-go areas. It will take a reckless government to organize a motley crowd. I refer to them as a motley crowd in the sense that you don't even know how they are going to emerge, and ask them to determine the unity of this country. One no-go area that must be in that is the unity of this country cannot be discussed.
No, but they didn't say the term. Just talk about it, and then the next step is not known yet, even though he suggested
no.
he will go to the National Assembly.
The example I'm giving you is that one first question is that do we want to live together? And I'm saying,
but doesn't the second...
There is nobody's going anywhere.
But
we must all be in this union.
But doesn't the second question...
We don't have a choice.
The second question already takes for granted that the answer to the first one is going to be a yes.
No.
Because Nigerians know that the power that they wield anywhere around the world is because of their numbers. And the moment they decide to disintegrate into small bits,
I'm sure you would have had time and again people who are saying that if we do not agree, we go our separate ways. A lot of people are coming to that conference with that mindset. And I told you last year that they are going to throw chairs at each other. If you remember me saying so.
No, we'll send them through chairs in the National Assembly. They're still very much together.
Good. The conference is such that it may end up as the Tower of Babel. Because a lot of people are coming with their entrenched positions. There may be very little nationalists.
Are you afraid to talk, Mr. Eke?
I'm not afraid to talk, but I don't want to talk in this kind of scenario.
You said very few nationalists.
Very few nationalists. Most of the people who are going to come are ethnic champions. There are very few nationalists. If they were going to be nationalists, then this idea of the structure of government, do we need this huge government that we are spending so much money, that we spend 70-something% of our budget on recurrent and just keep about 25% on capital, and the capital not even up to 15% is executed. That is why we are here.
So what should be coming from the nationalists?
Part of why we are here is what should be coming from the nationalists is Nigeria first, as against ethnic group that they represent. Nigeria first.
But Mr. Eke, we know that...
And that there are very few people like that who are coming on them. And if they do come, if for instance, government now says, I nominate Judge Eke, for instance, to be... like I'm swelling the rank of the Igbos.
But that's the reality of our time. We shouldn't gloss over it, can we?
Generally, that is something we have forgotten. All of this, I call this justificatory rhetorics. Indeed, at a particular point in time, our problem was this amalgamation, which I told you that, assuming, for instance, the North and the South were not amalgamated, and then we had two countries, would that have been the time that the Yoruba man, for instance, we are talking, I mean, we hate to talk like this, but this is the time to talk. The Yoruba man would have seen that irritant Igbo man as his brother, or the Efik man, or the man who is in the Southeast, will stop seeing the Igbo man as the person who is always intimidating him. And I'm telling you that the split will continue down the line. I think it was Robert Clark that once said it, that the unity of the Yorubas or the Igbos, or for instance the South, is because there is a foe out there. The moment that foe is not there, you will now find out that the Yorubas are not as monolithic as they are. Neither are the Igbos. The Igbos are even worse. They are not. So what are we recommending? An integrative government. Once there is the purposeful leadership, these people will begin to, all these differences will begin to ease out.
Just quickly, we talked about the modalities. You are quarreling very strongly with the modalities that this conference is going to take. You, first of all, made the point that we already have a sovereign in the government. Will you be comfortable if this conversation was going to be taking place within government circles?
A lot of such conversations have been taking place within government circles.
Exactly.
And the only thing we can do is we now qualify it. Let there be.
I'm just asking if you will be comfortable if this proposed national dialogue was going to be taking place within the confines of government.
Yes, the proposed national conference could take place within the confines of government. But the one that cannot take place, let me be so that you get me right. The one that cannot take place is the one that is against the government. For instance, the structure of government. And that was why I was saying, if it were a constitutional conference, I would have been comfortable with it, but not an ethnic dialogue.
Look at this comment from one.
An ethnic dialogue where some people are saying politicians should not even come to. So, I'm sure you are familiar with that.
I said yesterday.
Yes, that politicians should not come.
That and I keep asking them, I say,
who is a politician? How do you qualify a politician? All the people who are asking for it are all politicians, whether they are elected or out of government.
Okay, so your point is that, if it were a constitutional conference, which essentially is what a lot of people think this is leading, you will be comfortable with it?
Yes, I will be, but it's not going to lead that way.
How do you know?
Why?
It is so properly said that it is an ethnic and a dialogue of ethnic nationalities. That is the pedestal on which advice is being given. If it were a constitutional conference, I would say, look, constitutional conference, what are we going to look at? Maybe we will now begin to look at this controversial state police or no state police. We'll look at federal government and federalism.
But we don't have the recommendations of this advisory committee out yet.
But we
seem to be preempting.
No, we know where it is heading to. What is the agitation all about? Ethnic nationalities must talk. Put simply, that is what it is.
Look at this comment. Let me read this comment. Okay. Wale Ajayi says, if after 500 years, Scotland is on the verge of opting out of Great Britain, how come Nigeria will not after mere 100 years?
Beautiful. So that gives you an idea of the mindset of the people. Unlike what my uncle said, that the first question is assumed to be yes. The first question can go yes or no. And as a matter of fact, if the first question goes no, there will be no need for the second question. Everybody will walk away. And then what we now have on us is probably, assuming we are right, that we have 250 ethnic groups, 250 countries. Since the emergency historians are saying that there is nothing between all of these ethnic groups, that they are all distinct people, nationalities, that have nothing to do until Lord Lugard put us together.
Would it help if we go back to regional governments?
Oh, sure, it will. If for any reason we end up with this conference, or any conference that will come later, because I don't have confidence in this conference going that way, that we now need maybe zonal, as a matter of fact, zonal governments, such that all of these states, I'm not an advocate of state creation, except because of the inequity that exists in the East. Otherwise, most of these states that you are creating are all liabilities. Collapse them.
Yeah, the politicians know this, but they won't do what is right.
Beautiful. That is why a constitutional conference is better than what we are having, an ethnic dialogue. Why are we going this direction?
So if we were to have a constitutional conference, how should it go?
if we have a constitutional conference, it will go in a manner where people are elected to go to the constitutional conference. And they